Very good evening to all of you. On behalf of Auditing and Assurance Standard Board of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, I welcome you all in today's very important webinar that is jointly with the Digital Accounting and Assurance Board of ICAI on digital assurance. The topic is very important and very apt one in today's environment. And in order to tackle this, we are having both eminent speakers, C. Viren Shah ji and Abhay ji, and it is my proud privilege to share with all of you the brief profile of Shri Viren Shah ji. Shri Viren Shah ji has over 25 years of professional experience in providing assurance service to the several nation and multinational clients of the firm and includes audits under Indian GAAP, including India's audits for the group reporting under US GAAP and IFRS, and advice on the corporate laws and related issues. His experience includes audit of listed companies, audit of consolidated financial statements, and audit of internal financial control over financial reporting. His technical expertise includes carrying out audits in accordance with the international standards on auditing, ISA, and auditing standards followed in India. On behalf of Auditing and Assurance Standard Board of Institute of Chartered Accountant and Digital Accounting and Assurance Standard Board, I welcome you on this June platform, sir, on the very important webinar on digital assurance, sir. Welcome you, sir. We are having with us another co-speaker, C. Abhay Gadani ji. Abhay is a recently qualified chartered accountant from July 21 and has articleship experience in assurance and audit field. His audit experience includes audit of listed entities, audit of consolidated financial statements, audit of internal financial control over financial reporting, and audit of various private entities. He is well versed with Indian accounting standards, IND-AS, standards on auditing, and international financial reporting standards, IFRS. So on behalf of Auditing and Assurance Standard Board and Digital Accounting and Assurance Standard Board, I also welcome you, Abhay, on this very important webinar on audit assurance, digital assurance. So, can you You are there, sir? Viren,
Yes.
sir?
Yes.
Viren, sir? Yes, sir. So, without wasting much more time, I request Viren, sir, to please start his deliberation. Over to Viren, sir, please.
Okay. So, good evening to all the members present in the meeting, and I hope all are well and safe. Just I am giving the brief journey of 25 years ago, as I said by me, profession for the last 25 years. Initial years when we used to do audit, we used to do audit on a traditional way, examining the vouchers, documents, ledgers, manual ledgers, and all these things. But when I sit back in 2020, 21, and afterwards, then we are in the digital world. And when I want to say it is a digital world means if we are still, then we are a backward in this era. And what is the most important? Everything is available on the click, and everything by under the law or any other manner, all the information now moving to the system, either it may be economic system or regulatory system, which is good in the digital format and digital way only. All the data move to the system with the regular government authority with the digital way only. And as a part of digital India, in what we attempt to do here is over a period of the next 1.5 hours, what we are going to attempt to do, which are the digital assets as a part of digital India, which is available in the system and where the mandatory interactive application is there, and everyone, whosoever entity or individual or proprietor firm or LLP, everyone is supposed to do their certain interaction with the certain digital asset, and this is the way digital compliance is happening. It might be a GST portal, it might be IceGate, it might be a DGFT, it might be a trace, it might be income tax site. This each and every digital assets where our information is lying something in a different way. And me and Abhay is going to run through this whole presentation where we are able to give you the new aspects of the audit, how we can do differently, how we can move from the traditional way to the new digital era. And in this scenario, what is going to be happen? You are going to touch the whole population as well as you are going to get the insight of the information very strongly. So what is the most important part now is the technology skills and training. So far as the technology skills and training is concerned, so we are more of loss talking about the skills, which are the audit evidence we can use for the purpose of our audit and what we used to do in the traditional way. But now how we can move from the traditional way to the new era, and this is something different where we are looking for. And sometimes, if you ask, sometimes we feel if we are able to achieve and there is a needed support is available from the system, okay, saying there is a less interactive with the peoples around the client, around the team, and you can get the certain conclusive evidence as well as suggestive evidence over the process where you are going to use the digital assets. Okay, so this is the what is presented on the screen is the relevance and reliable evidence opting from external sources. Next. So this is the content what we are going to do over a period of next 1.5 hours. Next. Yes. So this is the way audit of financial statement is normally happening: planning, execution, and completion. At present, we are governing execution and completion as a part of digital asset information from external sources. That is what we are going to do. Everyone knows acceptance and continuations of the assessment is going first, then understanding the entity and environment of assessing the risk, perform the test of control, that is the one, perform the test of detail and substantive analytic procedures, and audit conclusion. Each and every stages of this audit, planning, execution, and completion can be done by digital assets information, and which is nothing but more reliable. What I'm trying to say, more reliable, which is easily accessible in where the whole population is available. That is the concept what we try to derive. Next. So let us look some history with us for the auditing standard, because what we are trying to say, digital assets and digital auditing from external information. So this is the fundamental of SA 200, where every auditor is supposed to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence to reduce the acceptability of the risk at the low level. This is a fundamental thing. Okay. Any additional audit procedure what we are required to achieve this, that we are supposed to do. Any audit evidence will be always of a two categories: sufficient and appropriate, that we have to keep in mind. Sufficiency always related to quantity and appropriateness related to quality. Moving to the SA 500, where it speaks about the audit evidence, and they more speaks about the sufficiency and appropriate, along with that relevance and reliability, and which is the fundamental for this presentation. And we have keep this as a base. What is the relevance and what is the reliable information we are able to take. In SA 500, one of the most important part there says any audit evidence you are taken from a source independent of the entity, that will increase the assurance. This is the second fundamental principle what we are going to keep over the next 1.5 years. Now, increase the assurance. Apart from that, what is the logical connection with the purpose of the audit procedure, and which are the assertion, which is the fundamental requirement of any audit, which are the assertion under consideration what we are going to do. That is speaks about the relevance and reliability of the information, means source and nature which we are going to use, and obtain directly from independent sources, that is outside the entity. So what we are trying to say, these are the SA 500 fundamental principle: relevance, reliability, source, independent logical connection, assertion, increase and obtain directly from independent sources. This is a fundamental principle we going to keep in mind when we are talking about the digital assurance or information from other sources. So this is the way traditional source of audit evidence is there. We used to do inspection of the vouchers, observation of stock verification, external confirmation, recalculations, reperformance, analytical procedures, and inquiry. This is a very fundamental basic rule about the gathering the audit evidence. Now we want to move out of this to the certain new level, and which is aligned with the today's era or today's digital information. So this is which is well recognized across the globe, and if you can see there is a one PCOB publication which is the Insight for Auditors, and they are talking about the appropriate information from external sources used as audit evidence must be relevant and reliable. They are also talking about the relevance and reliable. Now, what is the relevance when we are using the from external sources? Nature and strength of any relationship between the information and company's interaction. When we want to say whatever the external information you are going to use, what is the interactive applications our client is doing with that particular information, right? Level at which information is disaggregated, whether we are getting the summary or we are getting the transaction level information, age of the external information and the time period it covers, whether I am going to get the history or whether I am going to get the correct current information. So this will decide the relevance of the information. So far as the reliability of information is concerned, that is divided in three parts: source of the information, nature of the information, and circumstances under which information has been obtained. Okay. Reputation of the external sources. As we go further, you can find out okay, when I want to say external sources reputational, that is all digital assets of India as a part of Digital India part. Regulatory oversight of external sources. All the assets are regulatory oversight by various ministry, various department, and various statutory authority. In relationship to the external source to the company, this is a mandatory relationship between my entity and this particular information, where they are supposed to put the information and the regulatory authority is supposed to validate that information. Now, second comes to the nature of the information, right? Whether the information is originated, aggregated, or adjusted by external source? No. In all our digital information, that is original information is there. Aggregated or adjusted by the external sources is not there, because that is the input what we have given and what is the external output we are taking. That is not, there is no compromise or there is no change in the data. Second question arises whether the information has been subject to review of verification. Yes, each and every time and each and every step when we are going to see the further presentation, each and every step when you are getting the output out of this, that information is subject to review by verification, because that is nothing but the outcome from a one particular digital assets or external information, which is very important. Circumstances under which the information is obtained, that is also very important. Yes, when we are speaking, all informations are directly obtained by us. And information through a complex process, no. Whatever the external information we are going to have a next slides, that is nothing but no complex process we are following. That is a very simple process, simple download of the reports, and very much clear. There is no calculation or recomputation or any other things required there. Thanks. So to say, growing the use of information from external sources, keeping the fundamental principle what I have described in the further before four slide, right? Improve the accessibility. Why we want to do this? Because that will improve the accessibility. Volume of information available to the companies and auditors from traditional and newer external sources is something different. Traditional external sources of information, regulatory agency, industry data provider are increasingly making certain information more accessible to us. Interactive application. When I want to say some external sources have developed the interactive application, when I want to say interactive application, each and every transaction which is recorded in the books of account has been uploaded as a part of the regulatory process to that particular digital information. This is the way we want to say interactive application is there. Now, external information for the purpose of financial reporting may impact the audit of company's financial statement as well as internal control over financial reporting. So external sources can be used even for the purpose of ICFR or company's internal financial reporting process. And as an auditor, we can use for the audit of company's financial statement. Right? Right now, the Abhay will take over you what exactly we want to say as a part of Digital India, and over a period of all the resources or all the digital assets, we are going to keep relevance, reliability, interactive application, oversight of the regulatory agency, non-complex, simple way of taking the output, And this is the way what we want to do. We want to move from the traditional evidence gathering activity to the new, where our approach is going to be the whole population we are going to test at a one class. Completeness is never going to be the issue. And you are getting the more assurance about the part of the data which your client is going to present, and you can also use that for the purpose of audit or ICFR. Over to Abhay.
Yeah. Good evening, respected fraternity members. As rightly mentioned by Viren sir, requirement of SA 200 is to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, and for obtaining it, we need to ensure that it is obtained from a relevant as well as reliable source, thereby enabling us to bring the audit risk to an acceptably low level. Before using the information obtained from external sources, we need to ensure that whether the information obtained or available is relevant under the client's circumstances, the assertions that need to be addressed, and if there is any need for further audit procedures in respect of financial statement line items being audited. Keeping in mind all these points, now let us go through various digital assets which would not only help us reduce the time and efforts, but would also form sufficient appropriate audit evidence. These would help us in improving the efficiency and effectiveness of the audit, thereby enabling the quality of reporting. So on the screen, you can see many of the examples which of the digital assets uh, which are available with us, from where we can get the data in order to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So first one that we would like to discuss is the UDIN, Unique Document Identification Number. UDIN is a seal of authentication. It is a landmark reform and an innovative step in bringing transparency and combating malpractices of misrepresentation of CA's services and forging their signatures by non-CA in the industry. Every chartered accountant who is in full-time practice and issues any certificate or audit report or even concurrent audit report must obtain 18-digit unique number from the UDIN portal. It has been made mandatory for all the practicing chartered accountants to obtain and mention UDIN for every document report certificate issued by them with effect from 1st July 2019. It will enhance the trust and credibility of the profession. UDIN will also be helpful to the auditors while relying on the work of another auditor to verify the authenticity of the reports or certificates issued or certified by them. Hence, UDIN is a digital asset that is available with us, which would help us identify the genuineness of the reports we rely upon. Second digital asset that we would like to discuss is the Dgft Portal, that is Directorate General of Foreign Trade website. Import-export code, that is IEC related details. Okay. The services provided under the IEC related details consist of viewing the IEC and denied entity list status, checking the status of IEC at customs or IceGate. It also includes services to check the shipping bills received custom file wise and IEC wise, which is duly covered later on in this presentation. So remission of duties and taxes on exported products, that is RoadTap, is a much awaited scheme which seeks to replace the merchandise export of India scheme. So RoadTap has already been introduced as a export incentive scheme by the government with effect from January 2021. So for viewing the RoadTap related details, we need to input the IEC number, script number, and the account number through which we can view the detailed RoadTap script details. So one of the examples that we have put in here is the particular account number of a company through which we would need the client credentials to log in for the same, and by doing it we can verify the scheme account balance, the scheme name, account status, account opening date, and last credit date. Another output that we would get is the account number. So we would get the full shipping bill wise listing of the sanctioned amount. So if we get this, we can get comfort over the existence of script and rights and obligation assertions of the export incentive receivable balances. So through this, we can also verify the export incentive income to be booked during the year, as well as the export incentive receivable balances at the reporting date. Another digital asset of DGFT is EBRC, that is e-bank realization certificate. It is an extremely important digital certificate for those in export business. It is issued by bank as a confirmation that exporter has received payment from the buyer against the export of goods or services. Before the DGFT introduced EBRC platform in 2012, the process was entirely manual. The exporter had to visit their bank and request a BRC, which the bank provided in a physical form. The exporter then submitted the BRC to DGFT regional authority. The BRC details were then checked by the exporter and verified by the DGFT regional authority. Then the DGFT process is followed. Hello. Yeah. So the screen is visible, right? Yeah. Yeah. So this made the process of applying for export incentives lengthy and inconvenient. The EBRC did away with the need for physical BRC as well as for the exporter to visit the bank or DGFT authority. An EBRC is a proof of export. So, an exporter of services claiming a GST refund either of input tax credit paid on inputs or on integrated GST paid on export of services must attach EBRC with the refund application to support their claim. This requirement applies only to the export of services and not of goods. This is because the export of goods shipping bill is itself considered a deemed application for GST refund. But in the export of services, no shipping bill is required. Hence, the need for an EBRC to serve as evidence that export of services has taken place. So the process flow for EBRC is first, banks generate EBRC and XML file, uploads the XML file on DGFT portal, and uploads the value of realized foreign exchange as per CBEC exchange rates. Then DGFT processes the XML and stores the EBRC, generates the acknowledgement for the same, allows the exporters to view the EBRC, and shares the EBRC details with government departments and agencies like Gstn to make it easier to process export related transactions. In 2016, DGFT signed a memorandum of understanding with GST Network for integration of EBRC with GSTN. This paved the way for sharing of foreign exchange realization and IEC data. The objective was to strengthen the processing of export transactions under GST, make the process more transparent, and reduce human interference. So why not upgrade our auditing methods and verify the export revenue and receivables from DGFT portal where we can get the EBRCs for each and every transaction. So this is the output that we will get from the EBRC for EBRC from the DGFT portal. So through this, we will get the shipping bill wise BRC data. It will include the BRC date, BRC status, shipping bill number, shipping bill port, shipping bill date. So if you have the shipping bill numbers in the sales register, you can retrace the payments, the receipts against the exports made, and can correlate the receivable balances also. So we can get the data in relation to the in realization of export data through EBRC, thereby obtaining comfort over completeness of the data and also relevant assertions like valuation, accuracy, rights and obligations, cutoff and existence. So there is also a facility on EBRC portal to get the bulk request output. So normally through this particular website, you will get only the 200 latest records, but there is a facility on the website which is known as EBRC bulk data request, which can be done and will generate a report for period up to 1 year and will send report directly to the email ID provided. So you can request the client to uh, send the data over your email ID. So you can receive an independent confirmation directly from the DGFT portal. So client just have to authorize the transaction through their DSC. So this is the format in which you will get the EBRC bulk request output. So BRC number, date, status, shipping bill number, shipping bill date, realized value, currency, date of realization, and utilization status. So the next digital asset that we are discussing here is the IceGate portal. It stands for Indian Custom and Central Excise Electronic Commerce or Electronic Data Interchange Gateway. So IceGate is an initiative towards Digital India. This portal helps us by providing different services like verifying status of import-export code. It is also helpful in tracking the document status for customs, online payment of custom duties, refund through IGST, online verification of various licenses, redirection to different websites that are related to customs. Major facilities which auditor could make use of includes: first is details pertaining to bill of entry for import. It includes details such as location of customs port or station, assessable value, weight, total duty, fine, penalty, assessment date, and payment details. Another is details pertaining to shipping bill for exports. So it includes location of customs port or station, weight, FOB value, duty drawback amount, scroll number, let export order date, duty of amount, assessable value, and payment status. Third is IGST validation details can also be obtained through this portal to check whether the shipping bills are validated or not for the purpose of refund, and status of IGST refund sanction status, or if there is any error. So if there is any error, then the client can contact the IceGate authority to clear up the sale. Another detail from this particular portal is the details of bonds and bank guarantees provided by the taxpayer to Customs Department, and the duty drawback sanctioned and pending status would also be available. So by inputting the IEC code, PAN, location name, start date, and end date on the IceGate portal, one can get the duty drawback sanction status as well as pending status to verify the export incentive balances and income. So this is the duty drawback sanction status screenshot for a particular company. So we can see that this report is generated from 1st January 22 to 31st March 22, and during that particular period one line item is coming up for the duty drawback, and it is also linked to the invoice number and invoice date, so one can verify it at the transaction level, the details of duty drawback sanction. So verification of duty drawback sanction status through this portal, we can obtain comfort over existence, rights and obligations, valuation, and accuracy assertions. Next is, as discussed, we can also view the shipping bill details. Through input of shipping bill number and shipping bill date, we can get all these data in just one click. So there are many cases where the client provides you with the shipping bill number and date, but does not give you the sample that we have requested. So you can also verify this online through this portal by just entering the shipping bill number and shipping bill date. So through this, we can obtain comfort over existence, rights and obligations, valuation, and accuracy assertions for exports. In a similar way, we can also view the details in relation to the bill of entry. So we can verify the payment status, the amount, the duty amount, payment date, etc. in relation to the imports also. So we will get comfort over existence, rights and obligation, valuation, and accuracy assertions for imports also. So the next digital asset, which is one of the most important one, is the EPFO website. Employee Provident Fund payment details could be obtained from this. So input required here is only the company name. Once we enter the company name and captcha code, the output that we will get is the month-wise provident fund payment details and the number of employees. We can even get the name of employees for whom the PF was deducted and paid. So this is the a screenshot or output which we will get after entering the company name and selecting the results. Once we select the company that we desire to get information about, we can click on view payment details, and we will get the full till date payment details month wise. which we can export in Excel. So this is helpful. This is also helpful in verifying the existence of employees. So EPFO stands for Employee Provident Fund Organization. EPFO's mission is to meet the evolving needs of comprehensive social security in a transparent, contactless, faceless, and paperless manner. To ensure ease of living for members and pensioners and ease of doing business for employers by leveraging the Government of India's technology platforms for reaching out to millions. EPFO is one of the world's largest social security organization in terms of clientele and the volume of financial transactions undertaken. Just by entering the client's name on EPFO portal, we can get all the payment details of Provident Fund along with date and time of credit to EPFO of a particular entity in a matter of minutes. Also, the output provides details like challan number, number of employees, amount deposited, etc. And the same can also be extracted in Excel format. As auditors, we are required to report under Clause 7 of Paragraph 3 of CARO 2020 whether the company is regular in depositing the undisputed statutory dues to appropriate authorities, which includes Provident Fund, and if not, the extent of arrears of outstanding statutory dues as on the last day of financial year concerned for a period of more than 6 months. The output obtained from EPFO portal provides the auditor with conclusive evidence over payment of statutory due, which would not only enhance our reporting but also save our time, which we spend over verification of various challans. So through this, we can verify the payment of Provident Fund along with date of credit and also enhance our reporting under CARO 2020. The next system that we are going to talk about is the EDPMS and IDPMS systems, which are directly related to RBI. So the EDPMS and IDPMS are IT-based systems of RBI for monitoring over exports or import transactions respectively, in coordination with the customs authorities and authorized dealer banks. The IDPMS system tracks import transactions and similarly EDPMS tracks export transactions through banking system in pursuance of Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999 and Foreign Exchange Management Current Account Transactions Rules 2000. IDPMS system is Import Data Process Monitoring System. Primary data on the import transactions from customs and SEZ flow to RBI secured server, and thereupon, depending on the authorized dealer code, it shall be shared with the respective banks for taking the transactions forward. The AD bank shall enter every subsequent activity, that is document submission, outward remittance date, etc. in the IDPMS system to update the RBI database on real-time basis. Similarly, EDPMS system, the primary data on exports transaction including the offsite software exports from all the sources, that is customs or SEZ, will flow to RBI secured server, and then the same will be shared with respective banks for follow-up with the exporters. Subsequently, the document submission and realization data will be reported back by the AD bankers to the RBI through the same secured RBI server so as to update the database on a real-time basis to facilitate quicker follow-up or data generation. The AD banks are required to download and upload the data on daily basis. So here is a flowchart of the EDPMS transaction, how a transaction flows. First, shipment is done, and then shipping bill is generated by customs. It is uploaded in the EDPMS system, which is routed through the RBI server and is made available to all the AD banks as per the AD code used in the shipping bill. Then the export bill is lodged with the authorized dealer bank. The payment details and creation of the inward remittance in EDPMS is done. The payment is knocked off against the shipping bill in the EDPMS system. And finally, the Ebrc is generated. The process flow for IDPMS system is that the bill of entry data is shared by customs or SEZ to the RBI server, and the outward remittance details are shared by the authorized dealer banks on the RBI server, and the same are correlated. This is the format of the data. We can also obtain these reports, EDPMS and IDPMS reports, from the authorized dealer bank. So one can request the client to, generally the authorized dealer bank would share these reports to the client on a monthly or daily basis in case there are high level of imports and export transactions. So this is the format in which we get the EDPMS data. Is first we get the export agency, shipping bill number, shipping bill date, year, name, let export order, processing status, buyer name, buyer country, remitter name and remitter country, along with invoice number. So we can correlate our revenue registers export through this EDPMS report and get comfort over the completeness of the transactions, and even also the completeness of the account receivable balances pertaining to export transactions. So we can identify if the company has missed in recording any of the particular receivable balances and the related revenue. Similarly, for IDPMS system, import data process monitoring system, we will get the data in this format, which will include the remittance reference number, remittance amount, remittance date, bank name, purpose, and remittance status. So through this, we can correlate our import purchases with the IDPMS report and get comfort over completeness of the import transactions and payable balances. So authorized dealer bank shares the data mandated by RBI with the client. Auditors can obtain the relevant reports from the client to obtain comfort over accuracy, existence, rights and obligations, valuation, and cut-off assertions for testing of revenue and receivable and purchase and payable balances. In addition to above, we can also assess the old outstanding balances from the same to ensure compliance with FEMA rules and regulations. So, which if we identify any old outstanding balances, for example, in case of import, if there are payable balances more than 6 months, then there might be some reporting requirements. So authorized dealer bank sends to the importer and exporter the following reports: outstanding bill of entry report, payment outstanding report, outstanding shipping bill report, outstanding inward remittance report, and outstanding FIRC details. So which will help us in auditing the imports and export transactions. So the next portal that we are going to talk about is Gstn Portal, from where we can get the Gstr 2B. So we can request the client to input the details on the portal and extract GSTR 2B and share the same with us. So GSTR, what is GSTR 2B? It is a static statement and is made available for each month on the 14th day of the succeeding month. GSTR 2B is an auto-drafted ITC statement which is generated for every normal taxpayer on the basis of information furnished by his suppliers in the respective GSTR 1, 5, and 6. The statement indicates availability and non-availability of input tax credit to the taxpayer against each document filed by his suppliers. GSTR 2B also contains information on import of goods from IceGate system, including inward supplies of goods received from special economic zone units or economic developers. Note: it may be noted that reverse charge credit on import of services is not part of the statement and will be continued to be entered by taxpayers in form GSTR 3B. However, reverse charge on import of goods is auto-populated from IceGate. So here we can see the link between Gstn Portal and IceGate website, where the data is auto-populated in respect of import of goods. So through one of the procedures that we can perform is reconcile GSTR 2B statement with the purchases and expenses incurred to the extent that we can. So we can also take help uh, of GSTR 2B while preparing for clause 44 under tax audit. So where we need to disclose the expenditure incurred and the bifurcation of GST. So next digital asset that we are going to talk about is the electronic ledgers, which are available on the Gstn portal. That is the cash ledger, credit ledger, and the liability ledger. So we can request the client to provide us with these ledgers. So these are readily available on the portal in Excel as well as PDF formats. So what is electronic cash ledger? The electronic cash ledger contains a summary of all the deposits or payments made by a taxpayer. It is maintained on the GST portal Any deposit made towards the payment of fee or any other amount will be credited to the electronic cash ledger. Any debit to the electronic cash ledger represents payment therefrom towards tax, interest, penalty, late fees, or any other amount, which can be a voluntary payment towards old dues. What is electronic credit ledger? Input tax credit as self-assessed in monthly returns will be reflected in the electronic credit ledger. The credit in this ledger can be used to make payment of only tax and no other amounts such as interest, penalty, fees, etc. These for payments for the interest, penalty, fees, etc. It's to be made through cash ledger only. And third, what is electronic liability ledger? Electronic liability ledger will reflect the total tax liability of a taxpayer for a particular tax period. So this is a combination of cash as well as credit ledger. So this is the form of output that we get in case of electronic cash ledger. So we will get the date of deposit or debit, time of deposit, reporting date, reference number, etc. So one of the we can say the help that we can get for verify. So currently we would be verifying the challans for GST payments. So there might be some for the purpose of verification of statute whether the statutory due has been paid on time or not. We can easily verify the same by verifying the debits in the electronic cash ledger. So the in case of GST, the date of payment is not the date of challan, it is the date of return filing. So through verifying the same, so verifying the electronic cash ledger, we can get the exact date and time on which the amount was deposited with the GSTN authority for the for purpose for reporting under CARO 2020. So this is the format of electronic credit ledger, and this is the electronic liability ledger. So while testing GST, auditors shall ensure that ITC availed by GSTR 3B is matching with invoices auto-populating in GSTR 2B, which we discussed earlier. We shall ensure that IRN are generated by all the taxpayers having aggregate turnover of more than 20 crores with effect from 1st April 22 and aggregate turnover of 10 crore with effect from 1st October 22. Reversal of ITC. Where where consideration has not been paid to the supplier within 180 days from the date of invoice, client should be advised to maintain creditors reconciliation for taking appropriate action and reversal of ITC in case the payments are not made within time. This data is readily available on the portal on real-time basis. Auditors can leverage the data from the portal for verification of GST liability, ITC availability, whether the liability was discharged in a timely manner, how many refunds, how many for the refunds applied, refund received till date, etc., can be easily extracted from the Gstn portal. Performing these checks will further enhance quality of our reporting under CARO as well as under tax audit, where we need to disclose the uh, refunds received during the year. So the next portal that we are going to talk about is the Gstn portal uh, and e-way bill linkage. So we can ask the client to extract the e-way bill details that is my on the e-way bill portal. We get these four options: my e-way bill reports, other e-way bill reports, master reports, and summary reports. So under my e-way bill reports, this includes the list of e-way bills generated by the user for a particular date, which also includes following categories. First is outward. This is not an exhaustive list, but major items that we that is relevant to us and for our audit. So first is outward supplies. This will generate list of e-way bills which have been shown as outward supplies from the user for a particular date. Second is inward supplies. This will generate a list of e-way bills which has been shown as inward supplies to the user for a particular date. And third is consolidated list of e-way bills generated by us. So first is the outward supplies. We can perform the cutoff testing for the sales by using this report based on the terms of uh, based on the Incoterms used, we can determine the cutoff accurately, and we can ensure that revenue is booked in correct period. By using the inward supplies, we can perform the purchase cutoff and ensure that the all the purchases have been recorded in the correct period. Next is Traces portal. So through client credentials, we can access the Traces portal, which is a web-enabled services, which is a web-enabled portal and provides services like viewing the statement processing status and TDS defaults, viewing of Form 26AS, downloading TDS and TCS statements and consolidated files, which are useful in tax audits, validation of lower deduction certificates wherever applied. So this is a another helpful digital asset which we can use. Next is income tax portal. Few of the functionalities of the income tax portal are the details of ITR filed and status of the same. It is available in an Excel format. Outstanding demands. We can get the data in relation to outstanding demands and link the same with contingent liabilities. Ongoing and completed assessment and CIT appeal matters. Annual or tax information system statement, that is AIS, annual information statement, which includes various details now which is available in a PDF format also, and statement of financial transactions, which is another requirement under tax audit. We need to disclose the reporting done through Form 61. So income tax through on November 1, 2021 introduced annual information statement. The income tax department rolled out AIS on the compliance portal in November 2021. AIS is a comprehensive statement of all the financial transactions of taxpayer provided by various entities based on his or her PAN details. It includes new information like interest, dividend transactions, mutual fund transactions, foreign remittance information, SFT details, etc. It has two parts. Part A includes general information, that is PAN, Aadhaar name, date of birth, incorporation or formation details, contact details of taxpayer, etc. And Part B includes TDS and TCS related information, SFT related information, payment of taxes, demands and refund details, other information like income from salary, interest on refund, outward foreign remittance, purchase of foreign currency, etc. So as auditors, we should ensure that we are using the data diligently and reconciling the data provided by client with annual information statement. We conclude that the technology has much to offer to the auditor in terms of efficiency and effectiveness. Next portal that we can use, that we have with us, is the corporate social responsibility portal, which is an initiative of government in relation in jointly with MCA. So from this portal, just by entering the client company name, we can get the CSR expenditure report of a particular company based on the filings done by the company. So we can get the historical data just by entering the company name. We will get the details of CSR expenditure done, uh, and the category wise, in what category the company has incurred the expenditure. Uh, Another report is also available on corporate social responsibility website. So that is a dynamic report uh, which we can get through industry specific. So few of the other areas where we could rely on the data obtained from external sources is sales analytics for fertilizer and chemical industry. Through this website, audit team can correlate the total quantum of submissions on the website, that is external source, with the books of accounts to ensure that completeness and accuracy of revenue recognized. Sales analytics in aviation industry. Through this website, the passenger count available on the external website can be used along with the average rate to perform the overall rationalization of the revenue and to ensure completeness and accuracy of the revenue. Trading of industrial metals and minings. So auditor can reconcile the full population of sales or purchase ledger of an entity with the corresponding LME rates received from the website. There are many more digital assets that we still have to identify and we can use for this. So we conclude that the technology has much to offer to the auditor in terms of efficiency and effectiveness. It may be used increasingly to support the assessment of the reasonableness of estimates made by the management. The potential for the use of technological resources to enhance the audit quality is clear. However, it is no replacement for the skills and informed judgment of an experienced auditor. Now handing over to Viren sir to guide everyone with the way forward toward digital auditing.
So thanks, Abhay. So what we have observed, and you can very well understand, for any financial statement, except the depreciation, it may be the transaction within India in terms of the purchase of goods and services within India, sale of goods services within India. That is the way I can say Gstn Portal is available. Whatever the transaction outside India, when we import and when we export, that is end-to-end transaction level wise detail is available for all government digital portal. And as a part of Digital India, these are the digital assets or digital, what we can say, regulatory requirement is there. If you have seen for each and every digital assets or digital portal, or what we can say as a part of Digital India, every portal or every transaction has been imported in, every transaction has been reported by our client, and there is no question about the authenticity of the transaction, because these are the transactions, what is the input given by our client has been verified at various sources, and verified at various sources with the other external sources. And this is the way that regulatory agencies or regulatory part or authority has been confirmed the transaction what we are going to use for the purpose of our audit. So this is except depreciation, everything is now available on the digital asset if we use it very properly. This is what we have included up till now is the transaction level entry and the financial statement. There are so many other assets, digital information is available in case of TreeShield or anything where you can use for the purpose of conclusive evidence regarding the reliability, what is the status of the one particular entity, and this is the way we can use. What I'm trying to say here, what is the key takeaways from here is this is will be give the suggestive audit evidence or conclusion audit evidence each and every state. If we use it very properly, that will save our tremendous time as well as give us the different level of assurance, because you are getting the information externally which is matching with the financial statement of the client. Doing the proper reconciliation, we can conclude in a very different way. So far as the relevance and reliability of external information is concerned, as you see in each and every digital asset which is governed by the any government authority or government agency, so there is no questions about the relevance and reliability of external information. This is the more reputable. When I want to say more reputable means these are the assets which is used by the government of India for the purpose of other purposes. Suppose if you go to the Gstn portal, every state or central government revenue is going to be said based upon the transaction reported there. In case of IceGate, every bill of entry payment, what is the custom duty payment we are making, that is available there. In case of DGFT side, whatever the remittance we have received, that is reported to the AD bankers, and in turn AD bankers has reported there. So this is the regulatory, statutory or government organization which is that is the giving us the information. So there is no, again there is no question of relevance and reliability of this information. It is just to start the process and we can use that information for the purpose of audit. So what is the way forward in use of audit evidence obtained from external sources? Yes. So becoming a digital, so this is the digital technology, digital expertise or digital infrastructure. Digital infrastructure is already there. As we said, all the government portal is that is the digital infrastructure is available. Digital technology and digital expertise as a part of digital portal itself is covered under there. Now that is driven by data, network, and communities. Communities mean those who are the stakeholder. Government is the one stakeholder, bankers are another stakeholder, and our client are the another stakeholder. And what is the utilization? That the data and digital information what we are supposed to use. As you can see in the screen, what we want to say: data driven, digital technology, digital expertise, digital infrastructure, and client centered. This is the way what we want to say: digital external information is available. This is the anatomy what we try to explain here, where digital audit is a transformational, because we are moving from our traditional way of doing the audit to the certain different level of audit, where the data mining is going to be something different. Your external source of evidence is going to be something different, which we can use very well for any of our audit activity, or for any of our, when we want to prove with the any third party. This is the way we have done the data evidence gathering activity, we can easily do that. This is a now to rethinking and reimagining how we will provide the audit services, enable the entity new service experience and level of value for our audit client as well as our staff. The accounting and auditing business is built on people, relationship, and services. That is the main theme of the whole information, other information to be used. You just imagine the situation, okay, when this type of external information available with the client credential or without, independently by us, the data mining going to be done by our staff and our team means it's something different. Our client is going to get the services in a different way, and digital digital audit available is a new digital experience when which enhance each of these elements. So this is the circle of value what we are trying to say. The client will get the greater value from the audit. The client sees the valuable input from more from the frequently, and quality of the audit is enhanced to great in a different way, and the effectiveness and timeliness of work is enhanced. Once a year compliance grind, and client begins to see ongoing source of value for their businesses. We can enhance our audit quality by risk assessment, designing the response to the risk, and substantive testing procedure. This is the fundamental steps of the audit. Risk assessment, we can do identify unusual items and crafting the well-informed questions once we are having the information. Designing our response to the risk, the high quality and more effective risk assessment techniques can be done, which will be more focused and effective responses. Substantial testing procedure, traditional testing can be replaced with the superior techniques or automation. Now, how the globe and which are the various authority which is equivalent to ICI, how they seize and how they give the importance of this type of digital information. So this is from IAASB, where they are very clear. Exploring and growing a use of technology in audit is their theme for the December 26. What they are trying to say, there is a need to reflect the digital era in the application material. There is no need to change the basic auditing standard. There is just a need to reflect the digital era in the application material, because as everybody understood, our auditing standards is very clear what is the concept and what is the applications material is there. When I say application material, how you are going to do one particular step to ensure that you are fulfilling the auditing standard requirement. Source and quality of the data used, and challenging relevance and reliability. This is the views of IAASB for this type of thing. They are also very clear. Technology, professional skepticism, and nature and source of information is going to be something different. This is the audit consideration of audit evidence. This is the new era where the audit evidence can be seen with the technology, nature and source of information, and professional skepticism. Now, if we looked at ICEW UK from the March 21, right, they are also very clear. Auditing standards have said little about the use of technology in audit. Technology has the potential to improve both audit quality and audit effectively. Audit methodologies properly and skillfully applied clearly have the role to play in helping the auditors to demonstrate enhanced professional skepticism. The better the technology available, more the auditors can identify trends and systematic data, systematic biases, and root to the hidden anomalies. thereby better challenge management assumption in many different areas. This is the views of ICAIW regarding the technology and using the information. What they are trying to say is there is a simple revolution of digital auditing and auditing digital. That is the concept paper they have put in December 2019, right? What the result may be increased efficiency and fewer errors, but the benefits are wider reaching and personal. Relying less on the tasks that provide limited value, particularly in a busy season, free up the teams to really focus on the business. This would result in happier audit team, improved retention and talent, and confidence that we are all better informed. This is again FRC technological resource use the technology to enhance the audit quality that they are coming out in the March 20, where the technology research are enhancing the audit quality. That is their main theme. Data standard and extraction issues, what we have understood from the Abhay's presentation. Audit documentation, yes, the audit documentation can be done better because when you extract the information, you are able to say the source of information, relevance, reliability, all the parameters of audit documentation can be very well do and for the purpose of our audit evidence gathering activity. Data analytic and exception. This is the most important when you are getting the information from these sources and when you are matching with our client financial line item, we easily able to find the exception and which is subject matter of reconciliation, but will give the better visibility about any of the line item. And third party technology providers over a period of time when this type of asset is available and third party technology with something use of the software which extract the data and match with our financial statement, that is the possibility everybody has explored. So whole idea about this is bridging the trust gap on your transformation journey. That is a digital transformation, business transformation, and accounting and reporting transformation. When I want to say digital transformation, our all clients are now putting all the data in digital form and day-to-day basis or periodically basis at a transaction level. Business transformation means our GST laws or any other laws will change the business arithmetic of each and every transaction. And same will be help to us about the accounting and reporting transformation. We can do one thing in this journey. When this type of digital asset is available, clients themselves can create proper internal control in place because by seeing just giving the one example, even issued in my favor, and what is the goods and services which is already obtained by me but not recorded in the books of account, anybody can sitting in the one gate can be identified. These are the transaction which is not recorded in the books of account for which the transaction is already happened for the cutoff period or before cutoff period. So this is the way proper internal control can be done. This will provide the transparency and build a trust with the stakeholder. In our case, that is very much clear. Okay, we can once we use this type of information for the purpose of audit, our trust level is going to be something different. Our focus is going to be something different. So thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Abhayji would also like to add something, sir. Abhayji?
Yeah.
Abhayji, you're there?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir. Abhayji would like to add something?
Yeah, sure. Just a minute.
Please.
Yeah. So the key takeaways from this today's session is that in the given in this scenario that we have seen in the presentation just ahead, the information obtained from the mentioned sources directly impact our audit procedures and reporting to a certain extent. Auditor needs to apply professional judgment in determining whether the audit evidence obtained is suggestive audit evidence or a conclusive audit evidence. In order to determine whether the further audit procedures are needed or sufficient and appropriate audit evidence is obtained. As noted, both relevance and reliability of the external information, whether obtained by auditor directly from the source or through the company, needs to be evaluated when the auditor plans to use that information as audit evidence. Information obtained directly by the auditor from a more reputable source generally would be more reliable than the information obtained directly by the auditor from a less reputable source. And the external sources from whom we are proposing to obtain information are considered to be more reliable, as the websites are maintained by the regulatory statutory government organizations, and some of them are even part of Digital India initiative by the government. Nevertheless, auditors should always use the professional skepticism while using such data or information from external sources. So yeah, that's it. So if anyone have any questions, we can take it up.
So you are through with your presentation? So you are through with your presentation?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Chairman, Digital Accounting and Assurance Standard Board is joining within 1 minute. So kindly continue, sir. He's joining for his address, and kindly give me 30 seconds, please.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Sir, there is one query. Abhiji, 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 Abhiji.
Yes.
There is one query. Electronic credit and cash ledger information is available for business or for individuals also.
For individuals also. So those who are registered under GST portal, they will be able to access the electronic cash ledger. So registration on Gstn portal is necessary.
Okay, that is for individuals also.
Yeah. So
And Anilji, just to add with the Abhay, this electronic cash ledger, credit ledger, and electronic liability ledger, believe me, that will summarize the whole transaction for the year for any of the entity. If you go to the debit credit, because this is the very unique ledger available to us, when in the case of SAP or Oracle, we will not able to see what we mean by debit, what we mean by credit. But government portal will give you what exactly credited to your account, what exactly debited to your account. When I say electronic cash ledger, credit ledger, and third is the liability ledger, which is the most important one, because that liability ledger has a two part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is always created by the client themselves by when they are filing the various return of monthly, and part 2 is when the regulatory authority wanted any demand notice or anything supposed to be taken from the client, and there are any cases going on when the case is not in favor of the client and the demand is going to be raised, that is always available in the part 2. So what I'm trying to say is, if you demystifying the electronic cash ledger, credit ledger, and liability ledger, you are able to take
Yes,
the
sir.
full transaction of the whole year.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful deliberation. We are having with us our Honorable Central Council Member, C.A. Charanjot Singh Nandaji. Sir, you are there? Sir has already
A very
joined.
good evening,
Sir,
ladies and gentlemen. I am
well,
delighted to be with Viren Bhai, with Abhay Gadani, Anil Dilal, and all who have come here to go home more enlightened. I will not take much of your time. Just in conclusion, I would like to say one very important thing. Digital assurance will put us at a parlous where we will be effectively discharging our duties as an auditor. I am reminded of a couplet which says, "Ghar khairat mein milti kamyabi to har shakhs kamyab hota hai." अगर खैरात में मिलती कामयाबी तो हर शख्स कामयाब होता, फिर कदर ना होती किसी हुनर की और ना ही कोई शख्स लाजवाब. We are a class apart, set up an act of parliament way back on 1st July 1949, when even the constitution to this great country was not promulgated. We are there to serve our membership. We are there to serve not only our clients as stakeholders, but the regulators and government as well. And I can say one thing very candidly, that Viren Bhai Shah is a person who is contributing immensely in bringing this culture the digital assurance culture. I want to thank you all for joining and for going home more enlightened. If you have any queries, the board will be more than happy to answer them, to take them to the logical conclusion. I can say one thing as the chairman of AAS, as the chairman of International Standard Board and the chairman of Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, I stand by you at all times. I'm sorry I couldn't join earlier because I was traveling. I'm still traveling, but I wanted to have a very brief interaction with you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You can continue, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Sir Wisdom, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Viren, sir, there is another question. Can you give one example where you have used digital information from reputed sources to confirm information provided by the management in financial statement, prepared them, and thereby enhance quality of the audit report?
Yeah. Very easily I can see when we use the Ebrc for a subsequent receipt. You just imagine the situation. Export data outstanding as on 31st March. And if I am able to subsequent receipt of the data from the May, June, July, August, and which is available with the shipping bill wise, okay? And my client has given the export data outstanding shipping bill wise. I will be able to immediately vouch, and within the 2 seconds, within the 3 or 4 minutes, by matching what is the shipment outstanding, shipping bill outstanding, and what is the debtor's name versus the BRC received subsequently in the month of April, May, June. And this is the way subsequent realization will give with the existence of the debtor, valuation of the debtor, because all the money has been realized by us. That is the one example. Second, when the Epfo has given you the one most important Epfo site. Now Epfo site give you the full contribution statement of the client for the whole year, and with the date and with the time and with the second. Okay, that will give the conclusion evidence to us whatever the provident fund payment has been made by the client, because that is not the only case we are using. That can be used for the purpose of TARO, that can be used for the purpose of tax audit, because in the tax audit also we are supposed to say whether the employee's contribution has been paid on the due date or not, right? And third most important part that Epfo site is give you, once you go down and you click for any of the month and number of employees, they will give you simply the name of employee. Now imagine the situation when you are having the pay register in your hand where the name is appear, and when you are having the external sources there where you can easily identify the name of the person from the employee perspective. You just think of the when you are having, my client is having contract labor payment, is huge contract labor payment, where my principal liability is with me to ensure that whether the provident fund has been deducted by contractor or not. That is one. And to identify any bogus or vague employees there or not, or any laborer is not or there. This is the way you used to. And believe me, that will give the great comfort to all of us to ensure any of the assertion on this line.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, in e-cash ledger, if wrong amount is credited, how can we remove that amount?
So what you are asking is nothing but a procedural aspect, and there is a specific procedure has been given to us where you can how to correct that amount. That process is already given under the GST law.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So these questions we have written, sir. We are in a position.
Your voice is not, Anil, your voice is not coming properly.
Now it's fine, sir. Now it is fine. Now it is fine.
Yes.
Is it fine, sir? Sir, due to the technical glitch, we are not in a position to fetch the more questions. But whatever questions we will receive, we will forward it to you for your expert opinion and your advice, sir.
Sure, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, thank you so much on behalf of Auditing and Assurance Standard Board and Digital Accounting and Assurance Standard Board for sparing your valuable time and enlightening all of us on various intricacies on digital assurance, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Namaste.